Say hi to everybody. Facebook Live. We're on Facebook. Jack Hawksworth. Say hi to everybody right there on our Mevo.
Hey, guys.
He's here. He's driving with Lexus, of course. When we talk about IMSA racing, man, it's so much fun here, and it's so great to have you in. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
30th anniversary of racing in Detroit, too, with DetroitGP.com.
Yeah, and I think the 30th anniversary of Lexus as well, maybe.
Is that right?
Correct, yeah.
So we all get
nice
one for
time.
doing this interview, right? Okay. There's quiet, Siri. I'm doing an interview here. My Siri just went off. I apologize. I have to talk to you about the first win for you and that race at Mid-Ohio. Anyone watching this or listening right now, go on YouTube and watch the end of that race. You guys got after it. Was that fun? Nervous? What do you like when you're in the car with 2 or 3 laps left and you know it's that close?
It's awesome. Anytime you're fighting for the win or a top position is that's what we do it for. So it was I enjoyed every single minute of it. You might think, you want the race to finish because you're leading, but you're enjoying that battle, you're enjoying that competition so much. And it was such a back and forth race. The whole race was a real kind of titanic battle between ourselves and the 86 car.
Yeah.
We led at the beginning, they led in the middle of the race. Then we managed to pass them again at the end, and then they stayed with us right to the checkered flag. So.
Well, I was telling you before when you came in here, it was almost like a movie watching it. It really felt like one of those like movie race scenes, which was wild. But there's something in IMSA that when you look at a lot of series of racing, and when you look around, you go, okay, the cars are all the same body type, right? Or maybe they'll like the front end. Say for NASCAR, you got a Ford, you got a Chevy, you got a Toyota. That's fine, but they're all the same body. They've just put different decals. Not only do I get to see you racing against different cars like the Acura at Mid-Ohio and stuff, but everybody else, but the cars themselves have different characteristics. It's not just a body thing. These cars actually act differently and act like maybe they would more on the road.
Yeah, completely differently. I mean, one of the unique things about the IMSA series is it's not a spec series. So, whereas you look at other series, every car might run a spec chassis, with their own power plant or something like that. The IMSA series, especially in the GT Daytona category, every car is based upon a production model from a manufacturer. So, for instance, our team, the Investa Solar team, we raced the Lexus RCF GT3 car based upon the RCF production car. Other cars, BMWs, Acuras, they'll choose, the car that they want to race, and they'll build a race car based on that production car, and, then they'll go racing. What makes it so interesting is that each of these cars have different strengths and weaknesses at different parts of the circuit. So, for instance, our car does some things very well. It's very, very good in high-speed corners. It's very good over bumpy terrain, things like that. And there might be another car which is quick in tight corners and struggles a little bit in high speed. So,
well, I was going to say for you guys, like at Belle Isle, for example, I've watched you in the past. I mean, the way you go through 1 and 2, which is definitely a high-speed turn.
Yep.
That car just sticks. Is that in the back of your head? They always use the word commitment when it comes to being a driver, and confidence. I always hear those 2 words coming back and forth. You have complete confidence in this car when you're going into a corner, or you wouldn't be on the track.
Exactly, yeah. And I think, I guess for me now, this is my 3rd year racing the RCF. I know what it does really well, and I know the things which where I can have an advantage over, let's say, the competition. So you always look forward to those types of corners where you know that, okay, yeah, this is our corner. We're going to be very strong there all weekend.
And then the track itself, how Belle Isle's evolved. And I know it's still bumping, it's still a road course, but as a fan, again, I like the bumps. I don't know, you as a driver probably don't, but as we're watching it, it makes it harder. How unstable do your cars get during the course of a lap around Belle Isle?
Oh, I love it. I love the bumps. I love the technical challenge to it because it separates. It gives it more of an opportunity for drivers to separate themselves in terms of ability. It puts more in the driver's hands, right? If you have a billiard table circuit, it takes away an element of the car moving around and having to, I guess, drive the car hard, if you will. And yeah, no, I think it's great. It's tricky, it's technical, and it's one of those circuits as well where because the margins for error are so small, you really have to build up to it. You have to chip away constantly throughout the weekend so that when it's time to race, that you really.
So do you like, if you had your druthers, are you a shorter, like here, Belle Isle, obviously a shorter race than something like a Daytona, or do you like the endurance racing as well?
I love the endurance racing. I love the Daytona 24. I enjoyed Sebring 12 hours. But I really like the sprint races for different reasons. I like the challenge of the 24 hours and the 12-hour races based on the fact that winning one of those races is almost like winning a championship in itself. It's the length of the race, and how hard it is on the team, drivers, and the equipment in terms of just finishing. That challenge I enjoy. The sprint races I enjoy for the reason that it's a little bit more all-out attack.
Right.
Like this weekend, we have a 100-minute race, one pit stop, so all of the action is going to be fast, frenetic, and there's no time to recover errors. So everybody's on the.
I almost went full Lee Diffie on you and started yelling, "Time to bring the action!" But I didn't. I resisted.
It is a bit like that, though.
It is.
It's go time. From the minute the green flag goes on Saturday, every single team, every single driver will be at absolute maximum.
Well, it's tough on you too, because with Vassar and Sullivan, you have people with no racing experience. But seriously though, to be in a team like that, and you guys, from the beginning, some teams there's a ramp up period where and same thing for you guys, but having that background and that heritage, and then having a brand like Lexus as well, higher expectations from day one.
I think so. Yeah, this is obviously the first year for the AIM Vassar Sullivan team.
Right.
Already mentioned Jimmy Vassar, James Sullivan, well-known guys in the IndyCar world. The AIM team, very successful in sports cars.
Absolutely.
Andrew Bourdie, you probably remember him. He raced in Atlantics, and I think went back in the players kind of days. And so we got a great group of people. We've got a RCF GT3 car that's proven race-winning package from previous years. So although everything's new, the level of expectation is high, and it's been good to see that we've kind of already straight off the bat almost exceeded those expectations, and now we're in the we're in that scenario where we just want to keep on trying to get better.
We see that in other sports when we have a young team here, like with the Detroit Red Wings, their hockey team here, and they're young and they have a lot of talent and and they have obviously a rich heritage here in the Motor City. But I think once they get a taste of winning, they're going to just all of a sudden, boom, go over the top. For you guys, this win in Mid-Ohio, it's more than just a win. I would assume, and I've seen it in all disciplines of racing, once you get that first win as a team, does that confidence spread all the way through the garage?
I think so. I think it's confidence, and I think also it proves something to everybody. Everybody believes they can win, right? But you don't really believe it until you've done it as a team. So when you get that first win and you've proved it to yourself, right, okay, we can do this now, then there's also almost a new pressure, which is, right, okay, we've done it now, so no excuses. We can do this. So the only way is down. So at that point, then you have to keep winning.
So that's in IndyCar, the past 2 years, what have we seen? Will Power and Simon Pagenaud, when they win, that explosion of emotion when they win the Indy 500, obviously the biggest race, in their series. But I think, to your point, it's more than that. I think it's like they've just proven that they can do this. And you've watched them, their whole team. There was talk that Pagenaud wasn't even going to finish out the year, or Rossi was going to get his seat, or blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden, Penske's like, hell no, he's not going anywhere. But it's interesting in racing that even you guys, you're such a great driver, and you guys are so successful, but you still need that confidence, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's not just for the driver either. It's for this. Racing is such a team sport, and it's the guy who stands on the podium is the driver, but what people don't see is there's a massive this is even more so than football and kind of your generic team sports, if you will. Racing really is a team effort. It
Right.
comes down to a lot of guys. It comes down to good engineering, good mechanics, good pit stops. Everything has to come together to win a race, and I think it's confidence for the collective group. Confidence for the driver, confidence for the mechanics, confidence for the engineers in the work that they're doing. And I think once you get that win, once you get that confidence, then you kind of prove that you can do it, and then it forces everybody to keep lifting the game to maintain that level.
Yeah, I just finished Adrian Newey's book, the Red Bull design guru. Yep. But it really, so much of that book is about that very thing. No matter what team he was in, it's when they got that first win and they started to believe themselves a team, they became better and better and better and better and pushed each other forward, man. So you ready for this? You ready to just go out there and just start taking names?
I hope so, yeah. We're really looking forward to it.
Are you going to sandbag during practice on Friday? Do you guys still do that going into turn 3? Maybe you don't go in quite as deep as you would during the race or qualifying?
I don't think there's any sandbagging, but I think that there's a build-up, let's say. You don't want to go out there and, as we were talking about, this circuit really punishes any mistakes. So if you do overdrive the car a bit too early and you end up clipping the wall, it puts you on the back foot for the rest of the weekend. So my approach with a street circuit is always to be honest with any circuit, is to chip away at it throughout the weekend, and then hopefully build yourself into a place that when it's time to go and you need that extra bit of speed,
You got it.
you've got it. Yeah.
So I know you're dialed in professional. Jack Hawksworth with us. Hi, everybody on Facebook Live is watching as well. DetroitGP.com. Get your tickets. 30th anniversary of racing here. Is there ever a moment where something other than racing pops into your head right in the middle of a race? A grocery list, or man, I really need to watch Dead to Me on Netflix, or God, what happened with Game of Thrones? Have you ever had a moment like that when you're racing?
I don't know if I had a moment where I've thought of nothing to do with the actual race, but there's certainly moments where you can feel your mind begin to wander. If it's let's say if it's a race where there's not high intensity for whatever reason, you're multiple laps down or something's gone wrong.
Right.
But generally, if your mind does start to wander, you almost and it can do. You almost have to force yourself to get back in the zone, because when you start to zone out, that's when mistakes happen.
I would think that wouldn't be a good thing.
No, it's not, and it is easy to do. It's easy to lose that intense focus and kind of drift a little bit. But
you sing a song? Nothing? You never belt out anything? Nothing?
No, never.
No?
No. I've had some interesting things pop through my head whilst driving, but usually, as I say,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, but like if that happens, I almost force myself to be like, come on, get your head back in the game here, because your job's not done yet.
Greatest example of losing distraction and focus is Ayrton Senna at Monaco, when they told him he was up by almost a lap.
Yeah.
And they told him take it easy, and he put it in the wall the next lap.
Yeah, although that's almost a little bit different, right? Because he got I think what the story behind that, if I'm right, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he got told that I think Prost had taken a little bit of time out of him or something, and then he went on to set a series of fastest lap after fastest lap, and then crashed. So he almost bit the bullet then from pushing too hard, I think. I don't really understand how that happened, but
and
yeah.
how many times have you watched the movie Senna?
I think I watched it a couple of times.
There is no driver I've never interviewed a driver in all my years of doing this who hasn't watched that movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And he raced here.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think there's actually there's quite a lot of footage from him in the players' car around it.
Tearing out the road course and sucking up manhole covers all over the place. Yeah, man. A little bit of downforce on those cars. Just a little bit.
Yeah, they were cool.
Cannot wait. Congratulations. Seriously, that Mid-Ohio run was one you should save forever on video. It was fantastic. What a great race, man. The way you guys, that cat and mouse thing, that was fun.
Appreciate it.
And they gave you whatever Lexus you want afterwards, right?
I drive a RC300 hybrid back in England at the minute.
You show off.
I'm very lucky. Yeah.
Okay. I've got a pickup truck anyway. Thanks for coming in, Jack.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.